It was a scorching hot Sunday afternoon when my mother clapped her hands together and casually offered my front door keys to my brother. Everyone at the dining table began cheering, smiling as though a huge family victory had just been secured. I sat completely frozen in my chair, quietly passing a dish of roasted vegetables down the table. What none of them realized was that 48 hours earlier, I had already sold my house to complete strangers. My name is Brooke Sterling, and at 34 years old, I had spent my entire life playing the dutiful manager for my ungrateful relatives. 7 years ago, I bought a charming little bungalow on Cedar Avenue for $68,000. Every single penny of my down payment came from working grueling tax seasons as an accountant while my friends enjoyed spring breaks. I spent my weekends sanding oak floors and planting bright flowers along the front porch. In all those years, my parents only stepped foot inside my home for separate times. The unwritten rule in our family was simple. Everyone always gathered at my mother house, and I was expected to show up and serve. Whenever my brother Derek messed up his life, I was expected to step in and fix it. I paid for my parents' roof repairs and sorted Derek's legal mess when his marriage ended, never receiving a single thank you. By early spring, I realized I could no longer live as an unappreciated background character in my own family story. Opportunity struck when my accounting firm offered me a promotion to direct a brand new branch an hour north, complete with a massive salary increase. I quietly hired a local realtor, found 2 eager young buyers looking for a private sale, and closed the deal for $265,000 without telling a single soul. The new owners agreed to let me rent the house back for 1 month while I finalized my career shift and secured a quiet cottage near my new office. I fully intended to gently break the news to my parents during a private coffee chat later that week. But my mother had a habit of treating my personal property like community real estate, and she decided to execute her own grand plans before I could say a word. Standing at the head of the Sunday dinner table, my mother beamed proudly as she announced that Derek and his 2 young kids were moving into my house next month. She went room by room, assigning my master bedroom to my brother and the remaining spaces to his children. Everyone toasted to her generosity, praising how wonderful it was that family could occupy my extra space, completely ignoring me sitting right beside them. I could have stood up right then and caused a massive scene, but 34 years of family conditioning held my tongue. Screaming at the table would only make me look like a villain and trigger weeks of unbearable family pressure. My sale was finalized, my documents were legally recorded, and I needed 30 days of peace to pack my life. I chose silence, knowing the reality would hit them far harder when the right moment arrived. By Wednesday evening, my mother called to inform me that my aunt had already rented a massive moving truck for the upcoming weekend. She ordered me to clear out my reading room and move my furniture into the basement so Derek could start unloading early. When I tried to tell her we needed to discuss the property, she cut me off and bragged about how she had already shared my generous sacrifice with her entire church group. A few days later, Derek pulled into my driveway while I was unloading groceries and started measuring my front yard for a trampoline. He casually mentioned how he planned to dig up my grandmother's flower bushes to make room for his outdoor gym equipment. He spoke about my home as if I had already been evicted, totally confident that our mother word was the supreme law of the land. The breaking point came when my ex-sister-in-law met me for coffee and showed me school transfer forms my mother had already filled out using my address. I looked at her, took a deep breath, and finally revealed that the house was sold, and I was moving north in less than a week. She covered her face and burst out laughing, promising to keep the secret quiet until the final confrontation took place. The ultimate confrontation happened 3 days before the moving truck was scheduled to arrive, right at my mother's kitchen table. My aunt had her clipboard ready, Derek had his measuring tape, and my mother was serving cake while giving out assignments. When she told me to clear my driveway for the truck, I calmly set my coffee down and informed her that no moving van would ever park at my property. The room went dead silent as I explained that the house had been sold weeks ago, and the new owners were taking possession this Saturday. I pulled the official closing statement from my bag, complete with stamps and signatures, and laid it directly on the table. My mother's face shifted from utter confusion to pure rage as she realized she held no legal authority, no leverage, and no way to undo my decision. My mother shrieked that family should never keep secrets, But I stood my ground and reminded her that she had treated my hard work like her personal charity. I looked Derek in the eye and told him it was time to finally grow up and secure his own living situation. As I walked out the door forever, my quiet father leaned over and softly wished me good luck at my new home near the water. Now I sit on the porch of my blue cottage, watching the sunrise over the lake in absolute peace. Establishing firm boundaries with selfish people is never easy, but protecting your own life is worth every single second of discomfort. If you resonated with this story, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the video on your end screen right now to watch another incredible family drama story.